take out the investigation after the event with Ed?
Did Veronica roll that too?
Yeah. Everybody will roll it.
Alrighty. Okay. Hopefully that'll be enough. I got a 13.
Okay, you don't remember which kid it was, but with a raise, because I was going to set the target at 8. With actually a raise would be 14, wouldn't it? No, it would be 12. You're right. With the raise, you realize, okay, if I can remember the kid, it's an odd snowball. Maybe I should ask questions about the snowball. There's something in it. What is the actual substance is the first question that occurs to you, because that might narrow down how to look for it. What do you have?
8 plus 1.
You don't remember which kid, but you remember it came from over here. It was one of these 3 kids.
Ah.
Because those are the ones that were hitting at her before she went down, before Etta grabbed her.
Well, if it was one of those 3 kids, at least that narrows it down to suspect
Narrows it down to suspect list, right.
Need to find those 3 kids.
Well, they're all here. Nobody's left.
Yeah.
You were aiming at Veronica, so would any of those
Good
3
job.
kids...
Mm-hmm.
So were any of those 3 kids associated with that trainer that was throwing a snit earlier?
Well, they're there. Why don't you go ask them?
Oh,
You
yeah.
think a kid would have ran, so he probably doesn't know that the
Oh, yeah. I don't think he actually consciously knew that the snowball was filled with acid. I don't believe that. Because, like she said, they were aiming at her technically. So.
Well, would you know if they had any relation to him or anything like that?
You don't know, but the 3 of them are still here. We can ask them.
Yeah.
Nobody's left the
Okay.
scene.
And we need the doctor here. And then we need to start calling into a certain fake Frenchman.
Fake
The only person I can think of that with the technology to fix her breasts.
The guy who runs Warworks.
Yeah, the
Good.
big thing.
Yeah, the guy on the Eagle. That's a good idea.
Mhm.
But first things first.
First things first. I'm just thinking ahead because I know that hits a woman hard.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the 3 kids. All right. One of you 3 threw the snowball that hit her. I'm not saying you guys did it on purpose because I don't think you did. So you're not in trouble.
This would be kind of speech roll. Give me a speech roll while you're role playing this out.
All right.
Because you're trying to persuade them to tell you what you want to know.
Mm-hmm.
While he's talking to the kids, what's everybody else doing?
Veronica will be there to back up Bert if she needs to.
Okay. Bert, add +1 since Veronica's giving you an assist.
Oh, okay. And that gives me a
Father.
ten.
I'm trying to see that guy's name. I wrote it down.
You don't have to worry about his name right now. That's a
That's an
bunch
8.
of thing. What are you doing while Bert and Veronica are talking to the kids?
Just making sure that just looking at the wound and trying to.
Figure out what it is?
Yeah.
So the 2 ales are actually sitting down, kneeling about by Etta with you, and they're like stroking her hair and touching her. And you kind of hear the weird pseudo-telepathic conversation between them as they're talking to you now. What happened? I don't know. Did you see him? No. But suddenly there was a moment, and they both say at the same time in their heads, of darkness. And they both nod and shake their rings. And you realize the shaking of the ring thing, it's like doing the sign of the cross. It's a ward against evil. They've been doing it a lot in town.
I don't think her brother has left.
Yeah, but her brother wants her alive. Why would her brother poison a snowball that could kill her?
I know, but the thing is that she pointed out that wherever he seems to go, shit seems to follow.
That's true, though. She did point that out. All right. So what are you doing while that else is going on before I get to his role play?
I don't know what I can do, really.
Well, Percy's right there. If you're interested about the agent, is maybe you should have a conversation with Percy. Percy, can you identify the agent? Remember, robots don't normally volunteer information. They're not programmed to do that. You have to actually order them about. So it keeps them subservient.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about it, but you're right. Percy never
Percy,
actually
could you
volunteers
please
anything.
analyze
Correct.
this wound
Unless
and,
Veronica asks him.
Correct.
Yeah.
What's that?
Percy, would you please analyze this wound? And
Certainly, sir. Spectral analysis. I don't see any radiation. Spectral analysis and air sensors don't detect anything other than the... Oh, that's interesting. Sir, I believe due to a scent pheromone left in the air, as the acid has attacked the flesh of Miss Browning, that this is actually lathritium acid, which is a component commonly used in pre-war robot manufacturing to help etch their harnesses and their frames.
It's an etching acid, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Now,
Ouch.
who would have etching acid in town?
Would that be a common thing for traders to have?
Possibly. The acid is inert when exposed to the air normally, but once exposed to carbon matter, it will begin to function. So basically, you could put this in water or in the air, and it would be inert. But the second it hits our flesh, since our flesh is carbon-based, it starts to affect.
Ow.
It's also why it's used to etch steel, because most steel has carbon in it.
Youch, which means those kids could have easily lost a hand handling it.
Well, everyone's wearing gloves, remember?
Yeah, I know. But whoever did this couldn't have known that. A lot of people, when they're doing snowball fights, will take their gloves off so they can get a better packing.
Yeah, he may not have cared either.
That's the point. I
Do
mean,
any of the
that
kids-
pisses me
I don't
off
know.
even more.
I'm studying the.
Well, let me finish them so you can talk to the kids.
Yeah. I'm just studying the kids' faces. There's really nothing.
Okay, well, that'd actually be a separate skill roll, because the first skill roll was on her.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then you went to Percy. So now you're very tense. So I had to get back to this conversation. Right, so your speech roll, you had a 9, I heard?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's with the raise. The kids are like, we didn't want to hurt nobody, we're just having a game.
No. Kids, you didn't mean to do anything. This is somebody used you to do this.
We're not in trouble.
No, you're not in trouble. As long as you tell me everything that happened here during the snowball fight. The snowball came from one of you three. We don't know which one, and you're not in trouble for it, because I don't think you guys did it on purpose. But where did you get the snowballs?
Well, we made the snowballs, but one of them looks at the other one. Yeah, we should tell him. Well, when they were handing out Christmas packages, this nice man gave me a thing. He said would make the snowballs better, and then I should use it to throw at Veronica.
Who was the guy?
A tall guy I hadn't seen before. He said it would turn her pink. And she holds up this little bottle, and sure enough, it's the kind of industrial acid.
Hold it very carefully.
Well, it's empty now.
And so they wearing.
They're wearing gloves, so was the guy wearing gloves too, or could
Yes.
there be possibly fingerprints on there?
Oh, the thing is that he wouldn't have been wearing gloves all the time,
Yeah.
so it's possibly fingerprints.
And Percy might be able to pick up those.
Put that in a little that cloth bag, close it up, stick it inside my jacket.
Do you have a fingerprint database in Fallout?
No.
No, not necessarily.
Percy might
But
be able to
you
scan
could
for 'em.
you could do it old 18th century style of actually take fingerprints from the thing and then fingerprint every suspect and try to match it to the
Okay.
piece of evidence.
Could you ask her to elaborate on the?
Oh yeah, I'm on elaborate.
Not to
Now,
mention, I would assume that in the Lansing Republic, since the Republic is somewhat civilized, they probably have robots that roam serving as a public access record. And those robots are updated routinely. They might have a criminal database of all fingerprints and stuff to match
Okay.
to.
Yeah, of course, it's only a matter if he's actually committed a crime.
Actually, now I
too.
think about it, that's a really good idea. I need to add that to the story for the
That
Criminal
would
Justice
help.
Code.
Not to mention that, well, even if we get fingerprints off it, he has to have committed a crime to be in the database. So there's a good chance he's not in there, but it will, however, allow me to narrow down suspects. So, anyways,
Or at least confirm if you have a suspect that he is or isn't the person.
yep.
Right, so you tag it for evidence is the
Yep.
point.
And now you say he was tall. He was a man.
Yeah, tall, thin guy. He sounded like he was a sock. No, he wasn't no sock. Socks are kind of like brown.
Yes, they are kind of like me. Now, blonde, blue-eyed, dark-haired, dark-eyed.
It occurs to you that where they're mentioning sock territory? Sock territory is right next to Fort Fatherland.
Oh yeah, I know.
Okay.
But I'm trying to get this physical description of this guy as far as hair color.
They talk about a tall, thin guy, and the more you're listening to it, the more it sounds like. I mean, it's kind of because of the time period. Explanation's not exact. It sounds like it might be Joshua,
Might be.
her brother, but it also might be the guy that Veronica was talking to
Yeah.
earlier. When you confirm with Veronica and describes it, he'll be that traitor Reginald. It sounds a lot like him because they're both
Would
tall,
be.
thin men that have a southern accent.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Firecrackers.
It's
Yeah,
been-
people throw firecrackers around here all the time, all year long, apparently.
Jesus,
Yeah.
man, I've been hearing that around my place too. There's got to be something else going on. Anywho, so what was he wearing?
What's that?
What was he wearing?
Brown coat, heavy winter coat. He had on a scarf. He, well, I remember I didn't think much of him originally because he was wearing the end of his scarf. He had a badge for the Foxes. Now, some things are eternal, and one of those eternal things is baseball. I realize this is my own personal prejudice coming out since I'm a lover of the game, but in Fallout, baseball's a big thing too, right?
Yeah, considering how
The Toronto Quebecois team are called the Foxes. Occasionally they play the various Lansing teams back and forth as an effort to foster peace, which never turns out that way.
It's like football. Central.
You know how riots in Europe for football games are a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sometimes does happen in this reality. So whoever it is, he's a Quebecois Fox fan.
So was Reginald wearing anything?
Why, yes, he was.
Okay, well, Veronica will make sure to mention this to Bert quietly, just between the two of them.
So we have a prime suspect.
You do.
Oh yeah.
Looks like.
Let's go bust some heads.
Oh yeah.
And I mean that in the both literal and figurative sense.
Well, then we have to track him down. Etta is clearly in no shape to go anywhere.
Well, we're going to send her to the doctor's office and put her to bed.
All right. The two
You
elves.
get in touch with Mr. What's his name with the big blimp.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
The two elves, hearing their conversation, look at you, and behind their masks, you have a bit of a secondary, like, surreal imposition of sight where you can actually see the physical mask, but then underneath it, you can kind of sense the astral being that is inside that flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like how people would describe angels in the Bible. They're kind of like glowing with light kind of thing, and all around them the world is dark. They just kind of look at you, and you see this momentary flash of inner light, and they're like, we can take care of her. If you need to go, we'll keep her company.
You sure?
Yes, they both nod. And again, it's that eerie unison thing they do, almost like they have a shared mind.
I hate being cursed with this power of sight. Thank you, young elves. I'll go now.
They levitate her and walk her out, and people see that like, you see a kid go, how do they do that?
You don't want to.
I don't want
These are not the elves you're looking
These
for.
are not the elves you're looking for. All right. Now, the thing is that there were 4 of them in town.
Yeah,
Right,
now
as I
there's
said.
2.
The 2 others come running up on their radstags, sensing that there was something wrong, right? They come in on the radstags at a full gallop. And one of them, who's dressed all in like black, she has on this black mask. The hair has been made to look black. She has black crow feathers over her cloak. She actually jumps off her radstag, runs over to the other 2. They like bow their heads. There's a momentary where she like creepily looks at them silently to everybody else. Then she walks over to you, and in your vision, you see underneath there just like this crackling electrical storm.
Oh, she
Right?
pissed.
Reginald is in deep shit.
And the voice says to you, she appears to you for a second, I want to help, is what you hear in your head. Again, through a combination, I have to say it vocally, but think of like a combination of images and perceptions.
Right. Does my character get a sense that he can communicate that way back by?
Maybe.
Okay, I try
Give it a
to.
shot.
I think hard. Must find blimp. Big.
She backs up.
Must find big airship.
Shakes her head,
What's his name?
and you see in her head images of you playing the piano
Oh.
with your foot up like Jerry Lee Lewis, wearing a weird hat. And she shakes her head and she waves her hands like this, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, picture trying to speak a foreign language and have only like a scant vocabulary and
Oh
coming
my
out
God.
really wrong.
Oh,
I'm thinking of the opening scene of Meg when
As
the
you don't
guy comes
actually
on
have the
board.
telepathy feat yet, it's coming across really, really
Yeah.
weird, right? So she shakes her head like this to us, and she sounds out in very broken English. Speak words. Teach you as go. Your mind. Weird. You see her shiver in disgust having telepathic contact with you.
This is what we get having a Catholic priest who used to teach private school.
What's that French dude's name?
Reginald.
Reginald.
Actually, we don't know that he's French. The suspect's name is Reginald.
No, I'm talking about not the
What are you
suspect.
talking
Yeah,
about?
the blimp guy.
The blimp
Yeah,
guy.
blimp dude.
Blimp dude.
What
Oh,
now?
I don't have the name on me, but again, that's a secondary concern. We can always find that later. Right now, we need to get the suspect.
Yeah. Well.
No. Got any ideas, Bert? You're the detective.
Oh, I got ideas. All right. One, we know where he is. We know where he lives. I mean, pretty much. I mean, come on, he's a townie.
The elf wants to help.
Oh, the elf wants to help.
Yeah.
Well, one, we need him alive. So no killing him.
Okay.
All right. We can do that later.
Maiming.
Maiming is okay, with no permanent damage.
She takes a knife out and goes like this. Snicker snack. Achilles tendon.
Not that kind of Mamie. More along the lines of, stitching and we can fix them up later.
Batman don't shift.
Snicker snack. Achilles tendon. She says again, confused.
Nothing permanent.
Like, choke
Yes.
out.
Choke them out.
Like,
Yes.
choke out. Without
Yes.
Achilles.
No Vorpal blade.
No
Yes.
Vorpal blade.
Yes.
Yeah, no Vorpal
But
blade.
Snicker snack, Achilles tendon. You realize that she's actually quoting Lewis Ira Carroll's poem, The Jabberwocky.
Yeah, I know.
She's read it.
Yes, I understand that.
She apparently thinks it's proper English.
Snicker snack
Just-
must still talkie.
He must still be able to talk.
You see the mask turned sideways? She looks at your anatomy, goes, points to her own heel. Achilles tendon. Talkie. Like, she doesn't get why this is an issue. She didn't say she's going to cut his tongue out. She's going to make him not run.
Okay, Achilles tendon. Ah! That's what would happen.
Yeah, you can maim him. That's fine.
All right, that just undermined everything I just tried to do.
As long as you can talk.
I'm letting you get away with that because you're hard bitten. She looks at you and then looks
Father.
at and points to Etta.
Law. Excessive force cannot be used. If you resist, then Sneaky Snack you cut a tendon. But if he doesn't resist, we can't do that.
Snicker snack, cut her ticket.
All right, let me go get Shiro.
Ice that fight, claws that snatch.
Yeah, let me go get my my chief deputy and some new deputies, and we're going to add and some ammunition for my 44.
You suddenly hear, fuck that. And you look and there's about 10 army guys all loading up. Because remember, they were leaving town when this happened. Some of them saw
Oh
this.
boy, you gotta
Oh.
get these guys under control.
Oh,
Aren't they
this is
professionals?
no. I now have plausible deniability.
So,
I have no authority over these guys.
as I was saying before I was cut out, you hear, fuck that. You see some army guys loading up their rifles. One of them comes over, still in his elf hat. He's a corporal. He's a loose. He says, we're on leave for the next week. You need some help, Sheriff?
Raise your right hand.
Oh,
They raise their right hands.
Deputized.
Repeat after me. I'm a deputy.
We're deputies.
All right, you're deputized. You don't get that, do you?
You made them all deputies, so that
Yeah, but you ever seen Simon and Simon?
No.
You do that all the time. Raise your right hand. I'm a policeman. I'm a policeman. All right, come on.
Temporarily makes them deputies so they can do something with the forceful law behind it.
Yeah.
Here.
Sure.
You know, I never realized what is my freaking alignment at.
Okay.
All right. Alignment should be on the bottom of the character sheet.
Yeah, I never actually wrote
Yeah.
it down. I don't think I ever actually wrote it down.
Oh god.
Aren't you a follower like Veronica?
No.
Veronica's a follower.
You left it blank.
Yeah, I left it blank.
I believe you were also a follower.
Oh,
and she's right about that.
That would be nice. After
Sorry
all, I
about that.
can't do with my teeth.
But anyways,
All right. So
Thank you.
you have a posse of 10 soldiers who are willing to go help you. You
I need
have
some-
yourselves.
I need some 44 rounds.
Well, there are plenty of places to town. You want to go shop real quick?
Yeah,
Give
I'm
me
gonna
a barter
start
check.
Yep. Gonna stop at one of the stores and say I need a requisition
Why the
some
hell
rounds.
would he need to shop at a store? Veronica would willingly supply him with them.
Make a barter check and see if you actually have some in stock.
What's my barter?
Oh, that's a die 4. I'm sorry. I'm going to die 6. It's actually die 4. My bad. My bad.
I got a 10. Wait, hold on. No, I got a 12.
Well, I have a 4 and a 6 and a 1. Let's see.
So Ronnie actually has 10 44 rounds in stock.
Alright, she's giving him Bert. It's for a good cause.
Okay.
She'll eat the She'll eat the
And mine was an 8.
Okay, you find another 4 rounds, so altogether gives you 15. Oh, excuse me, 15 rounds.
Okay, and how much damage does a 44 do?
A 44 mag.
The most powerful handgun in the world. And it will take your head clean off.
most powerful, or one of the more powerful revolvers.
Yeah. I'm quoting Dirty Harry.
wondering when you're going to quote Harry.
I hope this sucker's a
I
cold.
really want sudden impact though. I want to hear them go ahead and make my day.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Go ahead. Make my day.
So, do you feel lucky? Do you, punk? I would look it up for you if you want to keep running.
No, I got it. Okay. Pipe 9, pipe 50. Smith & Wesson 44 revolver does 2d8 plus... Sorry, 2d6 plus 2.
Okay.
This one, however, does 3d6 plus 3. Because it has an effect on it.
3d6 plus 3.
3d6 plus 3.
Okay, and what's the range increments on it?
You would ask me that after I turned her away.
Oh shit! Is Radstein around?
12, 24, 49 in inches.
12, 24.
And 49 inches, which means that that's actually in feet. 110 for short. 250, actually be 260 for medium, and out to 500 long
Okay.
in feet.
Ouch. Just poked myself in
The
the
property the weapon has.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, you haven't sensed it yet. Go ahead and put a star by that weapon so you know that it's a legendary item. You're just not sure what it does. Legendary items being the magic, the version of quote unquote magic items in Fallout.
Okay, I'm gonna look up here something real quick.
Robert Lenoir.
Robert Lenoir. That's his
That's his name.
the name was constantly bugging me because I remembered it from a freaking H.G. Wells novel, but I couldn't remember what the hell it was.
James.
Because Robert, Conqueror of the World.
Radstein?
Radstein?
Yeah.
Radstein's in town. What do you want from him?
He's a doctor. Is he a doctor of medicine?
No, he's a physicist.
Well, maybe he knows something.
All right.
So,
You find Radstein. When you find him, he is like sitting alone in his little shack, reading Brief History of Time, Universe and Everything by Stephen Hawking.
I explain to him the situation. See if he has anything he can offer. I explain all the deets, what it is.
Hi, what's up?
I explain it.
So you do a relate.
Pardon?
You do a relate.
Yeah.
It's a game thing we use to explain, sum up the situation. Radstein hears the relate, looks back to you and goes, I'm terribly sorry, I don't know what else I'm going to do. I'm not a medical doctor.
Okay, just thought I'd ask.
I mean, if the acid's run its course, there's nothing else I can tell you what to do other than places to get that would be really rare. I mean, you'd have to buy that in a major capital, like maybe Lansing itself.
That's
Costly?
That could
Oh
be
yeah,
valuable
the stuff's not
information.
made anymore.
That's valuable.
Post-war robots, you notice that post-war robots don't have the fine detail or have as hard an exoskeleton as their pre-war versions.
Okay.
It's because of this acid. Not only does the acid etch the metal, but it gradually strengthens it. They were using it for an armoring agent.
How do you like the book?
Again, I'm missing like 30 pages, and it's been so long I've forgotten some things that Hawking was talking about.
All right.
okay. It
Hey,
says a 6-round cylinder. Okay, that's what I made to make sure on. Because some Smith & Wesson revolvers have 7-round cylinders. Okay.
did you brief Chiron? I'm assuming you're going on the expedition with these guys?
Oh well, he's in town somewhere, so we're going to get on the radio, send my deputies out to stake out his place of business, his place of home, his place of residence, and
Okay.
any known associates.
Okay. So I roll for the deputies and see if they find anything.
Well,
Okay.
Veronica could get descriptions of the guys that she saw with Reginald, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, by all means. Like I said, all known associates.
So the little elf that no one has bothered to ask the name of yet
Because I don't know what they have names.
will be palling around with probably the priest, since he's the one who's got the telepathic link. And so she follows you around everywhere you go silently. And you see in your head an image. You see the town like a map, almost like how a crow would see it. And you see little points on it. And then like the question mark symbol on various places. And you get the sense in your head, she's like, if we're looking for where he is in town, why are we assuming he's still here? Why wouldn't he have already run?
Because there's little to no chance of him being tied to this. That's the reason I'm assuming he didn't run.
Okay.
I can't really assume he's ran until I confirm he has.
Okay.
However, to be fair, I ain't going to take that into account. Hence why I'm going to get ready to talk to somebody about a drone.
You sure love them drones.
Drones are a wonderful toy. Not to mention, I'll also be talking to Connie's to make sure, because there's only so many ways out of town. I'll be talking to the Connie's too about
Yeah.
who's left town in the last 24 hours.
With as many as refugees as there are,
You're still
there's
waiting for me to
probably-
say something?
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't know. I mean, listen, I got this little elf with me that I can't really communicate with. We're chasing a guy that we think might be involved in this. Don't have much to go on here.
Okay.
I'm waiting for him to get
So
his.
I'm gonna say about
posse
an hour
together.
goes by. The deputies come back and tell you we have no trace of him. He cleaned out his room at the hotel shortly after apparently the snowball fight happened. No one seems to have really watched until he was gone because nobody cared, so nobody remembers. The people out in the stocks say he didn't go their way, so he must have gone through the placards.
Mm-hmm.
When we went through the placards, we did found a couple people that knew him, but apparently he also was frequenting the placards, so he might have gone that way, or then I just remember from where he was going in and out of that way doing trade deals.
Has he gone in or other in the last 24 hours?
Oh yeah, he was here this morning.
Did he seem like he was a bit frantic or in more of a hurry than usual, or did he seem normal?
Everybody's so concerned with themselves right now, and it being Christmas, nobody was really noticing.
Okay.
Did he leave in the last
Well.
2 hours?
No one knows. I mean, I hate to say it, Sheriff, but I think at this point, if he's left town, we might have to try to track him the old-fashioned way.
Oh yeah, and that will be so much fun because, God, out there in the wilderness, my God, I mean, people resist arrest all the time.
The, the elf like goes like this, jumps up and down, trying to get everyone's attention.
Yes.
Look,
Yes,
you know
go
something?
ahead.
She tries to think towards Veronica. Nothing. Shakes her
Huh?
head. Tries to think towards Bert.
Don't even
Nothing.
try.
Don't come to
Looks
me.
towards you, and you see dummy. And you see an image of the radio tower in your head. And then lots of eyes all over the world.
Oh yeah, that's a neat idea.
Marisol might be
Yeah.
able to send something out and get some more information.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you have 2 radio stations in town. You have Only Lonely, who you know Marisol personally. You've also Republic Radio, which is the official Lansing state-run thing, kind of like the BBC.
All right, brief Bert on the elf's
Marisol
idea, 'cause that
probably
wasn't my
be
idea.
better,
It was the
though.
elf's.
More local.
That's a good idea. I'm not used to thinking like that.
Why wouldn't we have thought of that? That's like a totally logical thing to do. Get the
Well, I
word
wouldn't have
out.
thought of it because Bert wouldn't have experienced that sort of thing.
Yeah, Bert's a wastelander normally.
Yeah.
What?
The idea of
Just
using
sounds like a
radio
local-
to send out instead of personal communications, face to face, it's just not his forte.
Well, let's do it.
That's why I wanted Shiro to be my assistant deputy because she's a townie.
Okay. So, who you leaving in town to run town while you're gone in this posse? Shiro?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
I don't
she'll
trust
take care of the
anybody
town. Who wants to go talk to Marisol?
I'll tell her. Oh wait, well, who's closest?
I'm the one
Bert
banging
does
her.
have
You're
a-
the one banging her. Yeah,
Well,
you
Bert
tell
does
her.
have a relationship with
Yeah, I
her.
was gonna say, yeah,
I'm the one banging her.
Don't bang her right now, though.
Okay. Does anybody want to go with Bert to talk to Miss Negraluna?
It might be cool to have the
Would
elf
that
there.
provide
with
any
it.
assistance going with them?
Well, I'm not adverse to a threesome, but no.
Outside of the sexual aspect of it.
Well, you asked if I wanted
Elf.
assistance.
You make this sexual joke, and the elf quirks her head to the right, and then looks at you, and then looks at you, and looks to the father, and you see an image of a big tree, and then the question mark symbol again.
Trist, let's go to the.
Yeah. He is dodging now.
She is clearly lost, and it occurs to you from the image she's seeing, she has no concept of sex. It's just not there.
They apparently just pollinate each other.
I think birds, bees, and how would I indicate future in pictures? I don't know.
Maybe think of a small kitten growing into a cat.
There you go.
So you try to think that at her, and she kind of puts
Well,
her
she
head
wouldn't know what the
down,
birds and the bees are.
and she looks at it, and she's like, and you see her do a full body shiver. Like, this
Probably
really
came
disgusts her.
Probably came across as really weird.
You know,
Yeah.
that is just, they don't know anything about sex. That's
Okay,
just
but however,
sad.
I do project the image of man running, clearly fleeing, and the idea that we put out. How would I do that in pictures? I'd have to think.
Like,
about
she's the
how-
one who gave you the idea.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. She knows what the fuck we're talking. That's interesting that she would actually do that. All right, so let's
Well,
go.
their thing is communications.
Since they service the mail service, they know what radios are, probably.
Yeah, they
That's
know.
why I had
They
to
do
do that.
communications.
Might not hurt to have her there.
Oh yeah.
So you all walk up
Might have a
the
person.
crowd of Lonely Lonely. Does anybody have the radio on?
Bert does. Why wouldn't you?
Well, she has her Pip Boy, so sure.
I mean, I've got all my shit on active all the time.
Hello, folks. You're listening to Only Lonely Radio, and it is once again almost time for us to do our standard evening loop. As you know, we've been playing Christmas carols because of the holiday, but I thought we might take a little break and jazz it up a little. Welcome to Jazz Christmas, this $22.95. She hits the loop, and then she looks up and notices you're all there. She's like, "Oh, hi!" And you all see her eyes light up. She sees Bert, Sheriff Gummer. You know, she almost all said Bert rather than Sheriff.
Yeah, Marisol, listen, we have an emergency, and we really could use your help.
All right.
Well, Etta, was attacked by a acid-filled snowball today, and has largely lost her left breast. Nearly died, in fact. The thing would have burned clean through her if we didn't have enough stim packs to choke a horse.
Although this woman obviously has had some problems with the town and some people in town, you see her hands immediately shoot up. She covers her face like, oh my God, she's horrified by the idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this for a second.
Needless to say,
And I asked him down, her very first question is, will she live?
She'll live.
Do we know who did it?
We have a good suspect.
That's why we're here.
What do you need me to do?
Put out the word to look out for this guy and what he's wanted for.
Who are we looking for?
Reginald.
Reginald.
I don't know his last name. You do.
Whatever his last name was that Veronica knew.
I got it.
Reginald something or other. You just said Reginald earlier in the
I
thing.
did only say Reginald earlier. Marisol says that's a pretty vague description, but I'll definitely put the word out. Do we know anything he was selling or any other identifying marks?
Well, this is what he used.
I'm not a scientist. I don't know what that is.
It's a etching acid. Well, I figured the name and product of the product was on the bottle because he told me it was.
Anything else might help identify him?
Well, he had connections to get this.
He was
You
wearing
know him. You met him.
foxes.
You mentioned the fox scarf, and she's like, he was wearing what?
Yeah, he was wearing the fox's emblem thingy, whatever how it was described earlier.
And you met him. You talked to him. Praised
Yeah,
Oh.
we would give a full description.
And the next thing in her mouth is, oh, hell nah.
Let me guess, she's not a Fox's fan, is she?
On the back of the radio station, you see a small flag that is one of the Lansing teams. It's a pair of crossed cannons.
Oh,
And then
boy.
below the crossed cannons, you have the Lansing Republic Star.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and this is one of the teams from Lansing. It's like their version of the Yankees. She goes over to the radio, plugs on emergency broadcast, boys and girls. There is few things I hold very sacred, but one of them is the great sport of baseball. And it appears that true to the form of those nefarious, evil, backstabbing bastard foxes from Toronto,
Ouch.
Wow.
one of their fans has tried to commit murder in the good town of Brightwater. She proceeds to go off on him. And you want to say they're listening to the vitriol coming out of her mouth? And I need a guts check because you're suddenly realizing maybe we don't want her mad at us.
Oh, no, I'm proud. I'm actually somewhat aroused.
Okay, I only got a 4.
You're a little shaken. You're like, okay.
You might want to
7.
give her.
You're TV too. The elf is hiding behind you.
You might want to give her a detailed
Damn
description of the
revolutionaries.
man's, physical act.
Oh yeah, she would give her a detailed description of what he looks like.
And it sends you an image of what it sees when it looks at Marisol. And you see this lion right now over the thing growling. It has 3 heads, one of them spitting fire.
I just sent her an image of Lenin waving flags. Followed by another little image of Alfred E. Newman going.
What, me work?
So you put the word out, and then Marisol goes, and how are they supposed to contact you?
Well, they can call the sheriff's office, or they can call me on my radio, or they can call you, and you can call me.
If you see them and you have a ham set, broadcast to Only Lonely, and we will relay the signal to all listening. So basically you can hear her on her Pip voice. She coordinates you in.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, we also need to go to the BBC, or whatever it's called.
Republic Radio.
Republic Radio, and do the same thing. Again, give them a detailed description of the said dickhead, and that the fact that we want him alive, in a condition is negotiable.
As you are all leaving, a couple of the soldiers linger, and you see them actually walk up to Marisol and talk to her quietly. And when they leave, the soldiers have weird smiles on their faces.
Huh.
Fanboys.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Anywho, yeah, she does have a nice voice.
How certain are you percentage-wise that this guy's the culprit?
95%. I mean, the descriptions match of when giving the description she gave, description the kids gave. She recognized the description.
With what CSI technology we have at the time, this is probably about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have the bottle with the possible.
Brief
we can get
tangent, but
him.
it does apply to the game. There's a TV show I started watching recently called The Pinkertons, which is actually based on the actual Pinkerton Detective Agency.
I saw the first episode of it.
They make Old Man Pinkerton a bit more heroic and noble than he was in real life, but it's not far off. The one thing they do show is how ruthless the Pinkertons are. There's one scene where one of the agents, when he's confronted with a room full of people that want this suspect, pulls out both his double-action revolvers, aims them at the crowd, and one of the women goes, "You wouldn't." And the Pinkerton looks at her and goes, "Oh, yeah, I would."
Is this the one with where one of the Pinkertons is the woman, the
Yeah.
lead? Was that accurate? Historically accurate?
Oh, he used anybody. He was very. He used
I'm not
blacks.
sure how accurate she is, because she's a bit like Grissom from CSI. She seems to know a hell of a lot. But as far as using a female agent, yeah.
Okay.
He used blacks, whites, Chinese, Indians. He didn't care.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, he was all about practicality.
He was also
Ruthlessly practical.
He was also for his day when it came to race and sex.
Equal opportunity.
He was extremely liberal for his day when it came to race and sex relations. So
Practical man.
very practical. The thing is I'm thinking I've watched a lot of 1930s, 1940s, and 1950s movies and televisions about crime, and that's kind of what I'm going on because I
Well, in
figured.
general, I would say in this area, like I said earlier in the setting, think of Lansing and areas that are heavily urbanized as being like America in the 1920s to 30s.
Yeah,
Okay.
Think of this area, we're out more like the Wild West.
yeah. So what I'm saying is that
Most of the frontier between 1880 to 1890.
communications-wise, we can spread out a pretty good net. However, all I have to go with is the fingerprints off the bottle if they're there, and getting him alive. That's the reason I want him alive more than anything
Well,
else.
you have a witness. You have the kid.
Yeah, I got a witness,
You have the kid,
and I got you that can match his description,
Yeah.
but I need him alive to compare fingerprints.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he's dead, the flesh starts to rot, and the fingerprint will be no good. Because think of how long it may take him to get him back to town as a body.
True enough, depending
And
on
the
how
fingers-
far.
Well,
Usually the first thing to go.
we could just dink him on a placard there.
That's a good point.
Does Percy have face recognition programs, and if so, is that guy in it?
Probably, I would imagine so.
Yes, I can remember his face, sir.
Okay, good.
It's okay.
We got that as well.
Is there a way to get that out? Not sure.
They
Yeah.
really don't have a way to broadcast visual images of
Okay.
the continuity.
I was
from what
thinking
I've
wanted
seen.
posters actually, printed up
Yeah.
wanted posters with his photographs.
I mean, couldn't Percy
Okay,
just...
you could.
draw it
I would
out?
let you come up with somebody to print the wanted poster, or have Percy draw it, because being a robot, Percy could draw it accurate. Ooh, that's a good point. Now that I think
Yeah,
about it.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
a robot.
It's exactly what I was thinking
The
of.
things we're doing over here is like sometimes world building, adding to it.
Yeah, I see it.
You know how earlier I said that the robots would probably like relay all the criminal record? That's good. They could probably use robots as like sketch artists.
Yeah.
Because the robot can perfectly draw what it
You
sees.
saw 'em.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so
Okay.
exactly what I was thinking. We can
So,
print
but
it
even if you print up the wanted posters, that's still after the fact because he's ahead of
That's
where
right.
the posters
That's
are
what I was
going.
wondering if you can transmit it, the data through, but probably not.
Unless when somebody was to sweet talk one of the guys with a sparrow chopper out at the base.
Why wouldn't the
Well,
elves,
this
the
I
elves
think
can
would be hard.
teleport, though, can't
I don't
they?
think
so
that
wouldn't
would
they
be
able
hard
to
because of
transport
who got hit.
wanted posters to different towns? As
Why don't you
mail?
ask? Why don't you ask her?
Okay, well, she asked her. It's like, would you guys be able to transport wanted posters to all the different towns?
You see
around
a
the
kid
area?
hopping, and you basically get the impression she's trying to like force this thought into your head. And actually, I forgot she can verbally speak somewhat. Short hop only.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't be able to do a long distance hop from one town to another.
No.
Okay.
But you could spread this out probably faster than you can move, even on Stagback.
4 sisters only. And she points to her mailbag. She's carrying some mail too. And job.
Ah, okay.
He's got to move the mail. That's the primary duty.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. It's not an issue. I was just hoping you do what you can. We'll give you posters and do what you can. I mean, he's got a hole up somewhere. He's only got limited resources. He eventually will run out of money. I don't think the base commander is going to have too many problems considering the heinous nature of this crime and helping us spread the word either.
Yeah, someone tried to kill Veronica. And used a kid to do it. I mean, you saw how the soldiers reacted.
Yeah.
And it's Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's Etta, and she is
Well,
something
the other
to
thing
hear.
probably won't funny, but the fact is it's Christmas.
And it's Etta who helped save this town.
Okay.
And is a brand new citizen. So there's a whole lot of propaganda value to this based on the nature of the crime, when it happened, and who it happened to.
So do you want to go talk to the base commanders now?
Yep.
All right. So you get onto the Fort military base. At this point now about an hour and a half has gone by. Actually, probably about 2.5 hours. It's further out of town than I remember.
Percy, go ahead and send Percy down to the printers to get that done.
No, Percy go and get that taken care of.
Send a
Wow.
deputy. I'll send a deputy
Excuse
with them. Boy, you are tired, aren't
Did
you?
you get a good sleep today?
No. He said he only got 15 hours the last 3 days. I know how he feels.
But you end up getting to the base, and when you arrive there, the soldiers salute you, and they see those soldiers with you are pissed off, and they all sense something has happened. You're admitted to the base commander immediately because you're coming under escort of soldiers. So the first thing he's assuming is that there's some threat. And you see him there, and he's actually in a briefing with the guy who's running the Power Armor Corps, who's still in his Santa Claus outfit. And when you walk in, the commander's like, you realize we have to wash that off. I don't know, I think it looks good on the T-54D. We have to wash that off, Sergeant. But I can have it for 3 more days. The holiday's still... 3 more days, Sergeant. Thank you, sir.
I thought it was 12 days of Christmas.
He walks out. All the soldiers are not mystified by the elf because they've seen her because, again, they run the mail to the bases.
Mm-hmm.
And we all walk in. The base commander turns to you. There's also a Spartan in the room who's coordinating reports from his Spartans doing stuff. And they all look at me like, what's up?
Well, I hate to ruin your Christmas there, boss.
What's going on?
We had an attempted murder in town.
A nasty one.
Very nasty.
How is this a military matter?
Well, it happened on Christmas. Your soldiers are witnesses. And they tried to kill her with a acid-filled snowball. Hit Etta Browning instead. Burned off her left breast.
Industrial grade.
Using an industrial-grade acid that can only come from the capital city or one of the other major towns.
Yeah.
Yes.
Takes a look at it, flips it over. Yeah, this is definitely part of the pre-war reserve. This is somebody who has connections.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that just apparently get to her. Pointing to Veronica.
Yeah.
Well, I have to point out this is also a matter of national security. He says, giving you an N,
Mm-hmm.
because this is the same agent we need to help our warbots function and be strengthened against the foe. So Lansing's Republic could be at stake.
Yes.
So
I thought.
you are fully free to requisition whatever you might
Father
need.
propaganda's working great.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Now-
not that the base likes you. Again, this is a small town. Small
Sure.
towns, people
I
do
get it.
things off of
Listen,
things. So the
mhm.
guy likes you.
I can kick my brother's ass, but
Nobody
you
else
keep your
kicks my
hand
brother's
off
ass.
him.
Mhm.
What do you mean to do?
Well, the gentleman's name is Reginald. What's his last name again? Crap, I can't remember his last name.
Relate.
Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Anyways-
I don't remember what
Anyways, the gentleman's, the suspect's name is Reginald. We have 2 eyewitnesses as well as his possible fingerprints here on the bottle. And, well, let's just say we need to get get the word out, get ahead of him, as he has obviously fled town. We cannot find him anywhere within the town limits. We need to get wanted posters out. We already got Marisol and the Republic Radio putting out the word. But we need to see if we can track him. And I need, well, the drones to go out and see if they can find him. He can't have gone far. He's only fled town in the last few hours. So how much ground could he cover? Let's see.
The only thing I have in the air right now that's serviceable are things that are the minimum we keep for our air security. I don't have anything else currently available. It's all down for maintenance. It's a good time to do it because it's the holiday.
No, that's a good point.
However, we do always keep at least 1 Sparrow or 1 vehicle airworthy at all times in case you need to fly someone out for medical emergency. So I can loan you a Sparrow, which is the chopper that seats 4 people.
All right. Well, he's most likely fled either north or west. Don't think he'd probably go south.
All right. He gives you a radio call sign, and he gives you a radio call sign for the chopper. We'll call the chopper's radio call sign.
Mother hen.
No.
Ah.
Cabbage Patch.
Wait, how in the world did Chopper get that name?
It's just came to mind. It's Cabbage Patch. And the pilot gets out there, gets the briefing. He's like, okay, fine. And he takes off. He says, just in case we find this guy, and he takes 2 of your troops with him to arrest him.
Mm-hmm.
And they all fly off, and now you've got eyes in the sky looking for the guy.
Good.
Good.
Yay!
Give me
Now,
flyers.
have we found any of his compatriots that were with him when he was talking to Veronica in town?
No. The whole party left.
Crap. That means there's probably more than, what, it had to be maybe up to 6 maybe with him?
Did any of his compatriots happen to have any relations with, the loose, like the prostitutes or whatever?
Hell,
in
just
town?
girlfriend's family in town.
Good question. You would know from your deputies following up, and they probably have had a briefing about it, that Everybody that's with him is a traveler. Nobody has anybody local in town. However, the deputies will. I'll give you this clue. The deputies know from the prostitutes, because you're right. They probably would have checked to see if they'd slept with any of the girls. That everyone tipped well, which means they have money.
Yeah.
They're doing well. At least his guys are paid well.
His guys were doing well, but he wasn't doing well.
Well, one of the first rules about business is you always pay your employees first.
Yeah, and pay them well.
That's a
Skimping on your employees is a great way to ruin your employer relations.
True enough.
All right, so you got eyes on this guy. You got the radio out.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do anything else before I move the story?
Well, we need to investigate his place of business. I need to find out as much as I can, his records, whatever he hasn't taken with him.
That's a good idea.
All right, so you walk back into town. At this point, I'm going to say about 4.5 hours have gone by, and it's starting to get dark.
Yeah, Chopper won't be able to stay in the air long. But hopefully we can at least eliminate certain directions he would have gone, because in only 4 hours he could have gone maybe, 20 miles?
He didn't really have like a stall or a place of business. What he would do is he would come set up shop out in the placards, and he would do the old method of you put a bunch of sheets on the ground, put your wares on, and sell that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds very flea market, but the fact is that's how actually trade went in most of the world for a long time.
Okay.
So you come out, you find the spot where he had put down his sheets and stuff and set up his board, and it's actually currently already occupied by another Connie who's using it to sell packas.
Could Veronica talk to the Connies around the area and see who had bought wares from him, and maybe get an idea of like?
That would be a speech roll as you try to find somebody who knows a clue. So Veronica's going to go looking.
I'm going to pretty much do the same thing. I need to find out when this guy left and what direction he went out. These guys would probably know better than anybody else.
Give me speech rolls. Good father, while they're doing speech rolls, what are you doing?
Ooh, that's a good one. 9.
Well, I've got the elf with me, so
Damn.
I don't know. I'm just kind of following.
You
his
notice
lead.
as she walks amongst the Connies, she actually feels a little skittish. She didn't feel that way in town. You can sense her. You can sense her distrust.
She doesn't like
Image of
Connies.
all the Connies? Question mark.
You get back an image of Connies occasionally taking pot shots at elves.
Yeah, they're writing meat.
The what?
They're
Like-
writing meat.
Like Veronica did
The elves ride
last session.
the elves ride radstags. Remember how Veronica was going to shoot one of the mounts,
Right.
right? So that's why she feels a little skittish around them.
They're writing meat.
Does she know that's why they do that?
Yeah, it doesn't change the fact of she's probably had a couple of shots fired at her by these people at some point during the bath. So yeah, she's a little skittish.
So I send an image of relax. You're not writing anything right now. You're good.
You like your yak stick there, girl?
All right.
Okay, I rolled a 9.
You got a 9, so I'll give you a raise.
I got a 14.
I'll give you 2 raises. Damn.
Damn.
All right. With your raise, you discover you were looking for his associates.
Well, not only that, but also what direction he left town and when. These traders are more likely to have noticed than the average citizen.
With a raise, I'll give you. You find out that he left apparently shortly after he had the conversation with Veronica because he was already planning to leave.
Okay, so that would have been...
All right. So him leaving town wasn't necessarily like he's leaving town because of the crime.
Oh,
he
he
already
planned it
planned to
all
leave
out.
town.
Yeah.
So he may have premeditated it. Right?
Well, that makes it even worse.
So since he didn't leave in a rush, he left in good order. Nobody thought anything of it, right?
Okay.
And he left to the south. He had said something. Actually, with your extra raise, you would hear he said something about going near to get salvage near this one site. You know, is a bad idea to get salvage near.
Oof.
There's this site about, I think I said it was 8 days away. There's this site about 8 days away that's supposed to be haunted. People that have slept by there have already had bad dreams. Some people go missing. No advanced gear works there, like robots shut down.
Is that?
Radios don't work.
Is it close to like that Ravens tribal clan from
No.
Veronica's first adventure? Okay.
No, even they avoid this place, though. You know.
So he's heading south.
This is a place that's generally bad news.
So he's heading south.
And it's not a very big area. It's only an area of probably about 2 miles square. Apparently it was like, pre-war, it was like an old urban area.
He's a
Yes.
scavenger and a merchant.
But when it went nuclear or whatever happened to it, something really bad happened here. It's kind of affected the area ever since.
Smuggling.
Okay.
I actually am getting the impression he doesn't make his real money from buying and selling at these little markets. I think he's a smuggler.
And that leads to my next question. If that's true, if that's not where he makes his real bones, then why is she a threat?
I don't think she was much threat as he just simply didn't like her.
He would risk all that just all.
People do stuff.
So
for
what
stupid
you're attempting to do
reasons.
right now is either a streetwise to try to figure out what criminal thing he could gain from this,
Yeah.
or a psychology roll to see his character. Do you have either skill?
I have streetwise.
Can I
Well,
roll
you're streetwise.
Could I roll smarts on that?
Otherwise, it's a straight smarts roll at -2. Yes,
Okay.
to try to get an idea roll on it.
Oh, that's right. I raised that one earlier because I became a cop. I have to die 4 to die 6 for that one.
Got 8. I need a die 10. There we go.
Ah! You stopped going off
11
there.
and minus 2,
There we go.
right?
Thank you.
To each die.
All right.
So,
6,
to each
3,
die,
3.
okay.
So let's see.
I had a 7.
12.
7.
7.
So you guys have a base success in this because I was going to get a higher T than normal because you're trying to interpret someone you don't know that much about. It's going to make it a 6. That's still a success. You guys realize that the reason why he threatened Veronica is that he probably wants to set up a station in town on his relay. Most merchants always send and walk a relay, right? It's very helpful if you have a stall in town that's always manned so that when you were getting a little too old for the trail, you can sit there and have other people work for you. What Veronica's actually currently trying to set up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he probably, seeing that Brightwater is going to be big, is trying to get in there first. She is his main rival. He has everything to gain by driving her out of town. Okay, so there is a profit motive there.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, then you had a 12.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a raise. The smuggling idea is a valid conjecture because where else would he have gotten that item that's rare?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All right, if it wasn't smuggled out, and you heard the, had you not had the conversation with the guy at the fort where
Oh,
I
I
told you
would've-
this is part of the Lansing Reserve because the guy actually identifies where this came from.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me until
Right.
you said that.
This is war stocks.
Mhm.
He got this from somebody selling material off a military base on the black market.
Yeah.
Something that's not supposed to be commonly available.
Not only that, but how do you
So
afford it?
yes,
Supposedly do
he
so
is a
bad.
smuggler of some kind.
Not only that, but how if he was just strictly a merchant and obviously not doing well, as Veronica was, speculated when they first met,
Mm-hmm.
how could he afford to buy that?
So, since he's got something from Lansing proper, it tells you a couple of things. One, he either knows somebody on a Lansing military base in the mainland that's willing to rat out. And if this so, then they're really good because that shit is tightly controlled. Everything's double checked. So if he's got something from there that went missing, somehow he's got someone who's really good at fraud. Or he's got a powerful benefactor who can divert things that were meant for the Lansing River before they even arrive to show up into his hands. The whole thing in the Mafia, it fell off a truck.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing about the military base would be like, we ordered this product, it never arrived,
Mm-hmm.
or it was broken or spoiled.
There's so many
Yeah.
better ways they could have come up and take her out. Like, he kind of fucked up.
Like I said, people do stupid things for stupid reasons.
Right, he just got angry at her. He had a momentary thing of, this is what I'm going to do to get back at this bitch. And if it works, hey, great. If it doesn't, it can't be traced back to me.
Like I said, there's no way he could have gotten that vial after what the general told me.
That's what I was
If
thinking.
he was just a typical poor merchant,
Right.
or even just a typical smuggler. Though this guy has connections, which means he plays at being a poor merchant more likely than not, or is a shipping, basically middle management is what I'm thinking of. Basically, it's his job to get the shit from
Middle
from
management's a
mainland.
really good analogy.
Yeah, his job is to get the shit from mainland to wherever they're selling it to. And so basically, this shit probably fell off a truck, and after he's used it here,
Mm-hmm.
he's telling whoever he's selling it to, and whoever his boss is, it fell off a truck.
Well, and real quick, that's why I'm wondering, like, if she's just in town doing business with regular Joes, it almost seems like that's even works for him.
Okay,
Because the
so
people who are coming in to see him
You
are
are
at
no,
high level.
okay, hold on. You know that Veronica actually has been starting to branch out. She has employees now.
Mm-hmm.
She has a set stall. She has people trying to branch out to find other places to set up like her own trading routes.
Yeah, she's like really trying to network.
She's in the
and
process right
plan
now of making a
to-
corporation.
Yeah.
She is a threat.
So you're implying that the government, the guys that he's working with, the biggest, might actually think, wait a second, she might be a better option.
Or
for us.
he himself might just think that she is a threat to him and his success, and so he wanted to eliminate her.
Yeah, you could say it doesn't have to be rational. It could be just simply just good old-fashioned greed. I don't
In
want to
fact,
share.
most murders are not.
Yeah.